So you can start on your mat, any comfortable seated position, or in your chair. So let's see. Yeah, either chair or mat to begin, any comfortable seated position. So just taking a few minutes, a few moments to center, to come to the breath. Inhaling completely and exhaling thoroughly. Just noticing the inhale and noticing the exhale. That breath is with us all the time, every day, and we don't need to notice it. It's always there on our behalf. But here we're just taking a little bit of time to really notice the inhale and the exhale. And at the top of the next inhale, just pause for 1 second before you exhale. And at the bottom of the next exhale, pause for just 1 second before you inhale. So it's an inhale completely, little pause, and an exhale completely, little pause. And repeating that pattern. Notice the ground beneath your feet, the surface you're sitting on. Breathe into that connection with the earth. Notice the air on your skin, on your face, on your arms. Breathe into that connection with the air. And simultaneously, notice the parts of your body that are making contact with the ground or with your mat or with the chair, and the parts of your body that are making contact with the air simultaneously. And bring your attention now to the heart center, the very center of your body. And you can leave your hands where they are, or you can bring them together in Namaste position at the heart center, not the actual physical location of the heart, but what is called the heart center. And if you press the thumbs gently against the breastbone, you can feel the vibration internally as well as hearing the sound externally as we chant the sound of Om 3 times. So starting with a cleansing breath, inhaling completely and exhaling thoroughly. And then 3 times we'll breathe in, and on the word Om we'll breathe out. Here we go. Breathing in. Release the hands, open the eyes if they're closed, shake out the hands. If you're seated cross-legged on your mat, shake out your legs. Shake, 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 shake. And if you're seated on your mat, you can recross your legs the opposite way. And come a little forward in your chair if you're seated on your chair today. And if you're on your mat, you can remain seated on your mat, or you can stand. You can stand on your mat if you like for this next sequence. So we're just going to inhale one arm up. Little pause. Exhale that arm down. Other side. Inhale up. And exhale down. You can be on your chair to be doing this. Inhaling up. Little pause. Exhaling down. Other side. Inhaling up. Little pause. Exhaling down. Now as you breathe, turn your head away from the arm. On the inhale. And on the exhale, head comes back to center. Arms come down. So inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. You're seated or you're standing. Either way, you're turning the head away from the arm. As you inhale up, remember that little pause. Exhale down. Inhale up. Little pause. Exhale down. One more time on each side. Inhaling up. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Exhale back to center. Last time. Last side. Inhaling up. And exhale down. And roll the shoulders. If you're watching, you can just click a little heart or a little like, so I know that you're there. And we'll do another upper body. Again, you can be seated, you can be on your mat. So you're going to bring one arm forward, inhaling that arm directly forward. You're going to exhale it to the opposite shoulder and look at the back of the hand. On the inhale, you're going to open the arm all the way as far as you can. On the exhale, drop your shoulders, soften. One more inhale, stretch a little farther. Exhale back to center and down. If you're seated, have your knees together, legs together, everything together. Seated in the chair, that is. If you're seated on your mat, also legs together. Or if you're standing, feet a comfortable distance apart, no more than hips width apart. Okay, other side. Inhale forward. Exhale to the opposite shoulder, looking at the back of the hand. Inhale, open all the way around. Exhale, soften, drop the shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale, back to center. Other side. Inhale forward. Exhale, across the body to the shoulder, looking at the back of the hand. Inhale, open, keep your gaze on the hand. Come all the way around. Exhale, soften. Inhale, stretch a little farther. Exhale, back to center and down. Other side. Inhale forward. Exhale, cross to the shoulder. Inhale, opening. Looking at the hand. On the exhale, you drop the shoulder, soften. Inhale, a little more. Exhale, back to center. One more time on each side. Inhale forward. Exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, back to center. Last time, last side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, open. Drop the shoulder. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, back to center and down. And release. The shoulders roll one way, other way. Arms to, hands to Namaste position. Inhale, press them up. Looking up or straight ahead. Exhale, keeping your gaze on the hands. Bring the arms back to the side, elbows to the side, palms face up, elbows pull back, squeeze back. Inhale, back to prayer position and up. Exhale, back down. Palms face up, elbows pull back. Inhale, forward and up. Last exhale, back down and back. And release. Press the arms out to the side. Breathing. And again, you're seated or maybe you're standing. It's as if you're pressing the walls away. Press the walls away. Press the walls away. Make little circles. One direction. Opposite direction. Press, 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 press. And release. Now, if you're standing, you can step into warrior pose with your, let's go left foot forward and right foot back. So, left foot forward and right foot back. Standing, getting ready for warrior pose. If you're seated, you are going to sit sideways in your chair, facing your left leg. Right foot is going to be back. So I think I'm just going to say foot closest to the screen or closest to me and furthest to me, because I'm not sure if your screen is seeing me in reverse. Sometimes it switches around. So the leg that's closest to the screen is back, right? No matter whether you're seated or standing. And then if you're seated, you're going to lift one arm up. If you're standing, you're going to lift two arms up. If you're seated, you're holding on to the chair with the hand that's closest to the chair. Inhaling up, looking up or straight ahead. Exhaling down. Same thing. If you're standing, you're going to inhale up. You're warming up. Exhale down. You're going to inhale up. Lengthening, lifting, exhale down. This time you're going to hold. So you're going to inhale, hold the shape, but not the breath. Breathing, reaching, lengthening, looking up or straight ahead. And then exhale. Hands down. If you're standing, you can bring your hands to the ground or to blocks. Into a high lunge. And maybe straighten that front leg. Breathing. Come back to center. Float back up to your warrior shape. Warrior one shape. Hands to Namaste. If you are seated in your chair, face the center now. Face the center. Another option of doing the warriors is to actually stand and hold onto the chair. You have to be a little closer to the chair, but you can hold the chair for support and do a one-hand warrior, holding the chair for support. So anyway, standing, your warrior one, and then open up into warrior two. Breathing in warrior two. I'll come back to the chair and show you what to do on the chair. If you are breathing in warrior one on the chair. So if you're in the chair, you had done your warrior one, you had possibly stayed this way, or you came back to center, maybe you're center here. So go back into the warrior one. And now you're going to open up into your chair version of the warrior two. So your arms are out to the side and you're turning your torso toward the front. So if you're standing, you've been holding that a nice long time. So we'll give you a little relief here. If you're seated, you just got into the warrior two, but either way, you're going to take your back hand to the back leg and top arm up, reaching up, inhaling, and then exhale, float it back down. And then inhale up, letting that back finger walk down the back leg. Whether you're seated or standing, same thing, exhale. Inhale up, reaching over. And now we're gonna hold that peaceful warrior shape, but not the breath. So you're gonna hold here, breathing. Inhaling completely, little pause. Exhale, completely, little pause. It's a side bend, not a back bend. And then floating back to the warrior two shape, where your arms are parallel to the ground. Breathing. And then floating back to the warrior one shape. Warrior one. If you want to in the chair this time, if you want to lift both arms up, that's an option. Otherwise, you can still hold onto that chair with the hand that's closest to the chair and release down. If you're standing, you can come back down into that high lunge. And if you like, you can step back into a vinyasa. If you're seated, just come forward in your chair, while people who are standing might be stepping back, dropping down into a plank pose, dropping down knees, chest and chin, or chaturanga if you prefer. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. And take a breath or two in down dog before you hop, jump, or walk forward. Coming into forward fold. Rolling up to standing. So we'll all join together in a mountain pose, either a standing or a seated mountain pose. Your seated mountain, the feet are parallel. They make a straight, a right angle with the shins, make a right angle with the thighs, right angle with the torso. Seated mountain pose, standing mountain pose, dropping shoulders away from ears. In both cases, you slightly pull the navel toward the spine. Open across the heart center, open across the chest. Breathing. And we'll release into the warrior sequence on the other side. So if you're seated, now you're going to turn this way in your chair. You're going to have the leg that's closest to me back, and the other leg is bent on the chair. If you're standing, same thing. Leg that's closest to me is going to be back. Other leg is going to be front. I'll move back a little bit. So a couple of warm-ups here. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, down. And if you're seated in the chair, you know you can just do one arm up, holding onto the chair with the other arm. One more warm-up like that. And then we'll hold the shape, but not the breath. Lifting and breathing. Warrior one. Inhaling, little pause. Exhaling, little pause. Gaze can be up or straight ahead. And then hands to Namaste. If you're seated, you can just pause there. If you're standing, you can come down into the high lunge, hands to the ground or to blocks. Breathe in the high lunge, and then maybe straighten the front leg, pulling the hips back. Breathing here. Coming back to the bent knee shape, floating back up, hands to Namaste, and all the way up, warrior one. If you're seated in the chair, stay on that same side. Warrior one on that side, your chair version. And then transition into warrior two. Opening the arms out to the side, parallel to the ground. Now, if you're standing, you're facing the long side of your mat. If you're seated, your torso is now pointing forward toward the front while your legs are still angled off to the side. The leg that's closest to me is the straight leg, the back, the straight leg. And then drop the back hand to that straight leg. Top hand rotates, and a few times warming up for peaceful warrior. Inhale up, exhale back. Same thing if you're seated. Inhale, lifting, letting that back hand creep down the back leg. Exhale, inhale, exhale. And this next time we'll hold the shape, but not the breath. Breathing in the peaceful warrior. And then floating back to warrior two, back to warrior one. Hands to Namaste. If you're standing, come on down to your high lunge. Breathe here. And if you'd like to do that vinyasa again, you can step back. If that's too much for you, you can step forward and roll up. Otherwise, you step back, you drop down into plank. You drop down knees, chest and chin, or chaturanga if you prefer. You inhale cobra or up dog. Exhale down dog. Taking a breath or two in down dog. And then hopping, jumping, or walking forward into forward fold. Standing in forward fold. If you're seated in your chair, you're facing this way, the way I am now. If you're standing, you're in forward fold. Releasing completely. And then rolling up like a ragdoll, all the way up. If you're seated, you can join us here. Inhaling, lifting the arms. Lengthening, maybe baby back bend, but keep it out of the low back. Exhale through Namaste. And stand in mountain pose. Either your standing mountain pose or your seated mountain. Breathing. Feet no more than hips width apart. Thighs parallel. Chest lifted. Drop the shoulders. Gently move the head. A little bit no, a little bit yes. Releasing any tension in the neck. And then come to center, pause, breathe. And we'll move into a triangle sequence. So come forward in your chair if you're seated in the chair. If you're standing, step wide into triangle. The triangle's a little different for seated or standing. So we'll do just one leg for seated. For standing, of course, you have both legs spread wide. So for seated triangle, you're gonna stretch out just one leg. Okay, so stretch out just this one leg here. And if you are standing, we'll call this leg the leg that's closest to me. So if you're standing this way, this would be the leg that's closest to me. So you're gonna be a beautiful 5-pointed star. Breathing here in triangle, seated or standing. And then you're gonna bring the hand that's closest to the leg, you're gonna start reaching in that direction. Not down, but lengthening, 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 lengthening. Till you can't lengthen anymore. And then drop the hand down to the leg. Rotate heart center toward the sky. Top arm can lift up if that's okay for you in your shoulders. And you're breathing. Inhale completely. Little pause. Exhale completely. Little pause. Inhale completely. Little pause. Exhale completely. Little pause. One more breath like that. And then float back up to standing or to seated. Inhale, exhale, and exchange the legs. So if you're seated, you bring this leg in, you extend this leg out. If you're standing, you rotate your feet. So now the toes of this leg are facing are parallel with the long side of the mat. Arms out to the side. Breathe and begin to lengthen, 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 lengthen. You're reaching, you're getting longer. Breathing. Lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. Don't let this hip come off the chair. When you can't lengthen anymore, drop this hand down to the leg. Rotate heart center, float this arm up. So whether you're seated or standing, this is the full expression of your triangle pose. If this shoulder is painful for you, keep your hand on your hip. Inhale completely. Little pause. Exhale completely. Little pause. Inhale completely. Little pause. Exhale. One more breath like that. Seated, standing, arm up or down. It's your body, it's your pose, it's your yoga. And then float back up. Inhale, exhale, release. If you're seated, draw your leg in. If you're standing, come to center. So if you're standing, you're coming to center. Your legs are wide. Breathing here. And we'll go back to the first side. So if you're seated, you're going to extend this leg. If you're standing, you're going to rotate so that foot is parallel with the long side of the mat. Either way, you're going to extend your arms. You're going to reach, reach, reach till you can't reach anymore. And then you're going to drop down and float up. Breathing here. Beautiful triangle pose. Remember, you don't have to lift the top arm. You can just leave it on your hip. Last inhale and exhale. Float back up. Come to center. Inhale, exhale. If you're in your chair, come to center. Bring both legs in and then extend this leg. And if you're seated, you're going to rotate this leg so the feet are parallel with the long side of the mat. Beautiful 5-pointed star here, and then reach. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Breathing, lengthening till you can't reach anymore, and then drop down, float up, and breathe. Notice what happens in the space between the two parts of the breath. And when you're ready, float up. Come to center. Pigeon toe the toes if you're standing. If you're seated, bring your feet parallel with each other. Be in your seated mountain pose. If you're standing, we're going to hinge at the hips and come forward and down. If you're seated, I'll show you what to do in a moment. Releasing completely. Hands to the ground or to blocks. Keeping a little micro bend in the knees. And then chin to the chest, rolling up. All the way up. When you're erect, you can reach the arms up. And exhale down. So we're going to do a little bit of forward folding, either standing or seated. So if you're standing, you can stay where you are, or you can bring your legs a little bit closer together. You can experiment, see what's good for you. I'm going to demonstrate the seated version. So you're standing up tall or seated up tall. You're going to inhale, lift, and you're going to exhale just halfway down. So if you're standing, you're not coming to the floor, you're just coming into an L shape. And if you're seated, you're just coming halfway down and you're reaching and lengthening, extending. And then engage your abdominals, inhale back up. Exhale, reach. It's important to engage your abdominals here to protect your low back. The idea is you're reaching, you're lengthening, you're getting longer. Inhale up. Now we're going to do a three-part exhale. Each time reach a little farther. If you're standing, you're in that L shape. If you're seated, you're reaching, reaching, reaching. And then if you're standing, you can roll all the way back down, back into that forward fold. If you're seated, hands to the thighs, chest to the thighs, neck is neutral, back is fairly straight. You're breathing here. If you have glaucoma, high blood pressure, you're going to stay right here. If you do not have those issues or any tendency toward dizziness, you can continue and float all the way down. All the way down. All the way down into a seated forward fold. And then we're going to roll back up. Everybody's rolling back up. Last thing is to release the chin off of the chest and breathe. After a breath or two, inhale the arms up. Maybe baby back bend, but keep it out of the low back. Exhale to Namaste. Sit or stand in mountain pose. Breathing. We'll do that forward fold sequence one more time. So you're seated or you're standing. You're inhaling up. You're exhaling forward, reaching, lengthening, only into an L shape if you're standing. Inhaling up. Exhaling forward. Very important to draw the navel toward the spine to protect the low back. Inhale up. Three-part exhale here. Reaching, lengthening, reaching, lengthening, reaching, lengthening. And then drop down. Hands to the thighs, chest to the thighs. Either stay here and breathe, or if it doesn't cause you any discomfort, you can roll all the way down. All the way down. If you are in a forward fold standing, be sure to keep a little micro bend in the back of the knees. Do not hyperextend behind the knees. And then everybody's going to roll up, keeping the chin to the chest till the very end, releasing chin from chest, rolling shoulders, breathing. Okay. If you're seated, you can sit back in your chair. If you're standing, you can sit down on your mat with your legs extended. We're going to go into a twist sequence. So if you're seated in the chair, you can just stay right there, obviously. If you are seated on your mat, you can bend the leg that's closest to the, closest to me, closest to what you're watching. And you can either leave it there or you can cross it over the other leg. So you're sitting up tall, you're hugging that bent leg toward your chest. If you're seated in a chair, you're going to cross thigh over thigh. Or if that's not available to you, you can cross the ankles. So either thigh over thigh or ankle over ankle if you're in the chair. So in either way, we're going to twist toward the top leg. Okay, so if you're on the mat, you're going to twist toward your top leg. If you're seated, you're going to twist toward the top leg. So you're sitting up tall, inhale. You're going to take the opposite arm from the top leg and bring it around to the top leg. Other arm goes behind you to the back of your chair if you're seated, or to the floor if you are on the mat. So inhale, you're lengthening. Exhale, you're softening into the twist. Inhale, lengthen in both directions. Exhale, soften into the twist. One more breath like that. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhale, softening. And then float back to center. Unwind, shake it out. And cross the other leg. So if you're seated on the chair, now you're going to bend this leg. You're going to either leave it here or you're going to cross it over the other straight leg. If you're seated in the chair, you're going to cross thigh over thigh. If that doesn't work for you, ankle over ankle. Lots of variations. So we're sitting up tall. We're going to turn toward the top leg. So the opposite arm is coming around. It's going to grab onto that leg. Other hand, on an inhale, exhale, is going to start coming behind you, either to the ground behind you or to the back of your chair. Let your legs squeeze together. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. One more breath like that. And float back to center. Unwind. Second time on each side. If you're on the floor, if you started like this with your foot on this side of the leg, you can switch to here, or you can go back to here, or the other option is to bend the bottom leg underneath you. So any of those three versions is fine. And if you're seated on the chair, you're going to simply cross one leg over the other. The leg that's closest to me, you're going to cross it, or you're just going to cross at the ankles. You're going to sit up tall. Breathe. This time, if you're on the floor, you can bring the opposite arm all the way up on the inhale. On the exhale, as you twist your body, you can bend that arm and you can bring the outer elbow toward the outside of that leg. If you're seated, you're just grabbing the thigh like you did before. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften into the twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. Last breath like that. And float back to center. Sit up tall. Unwind. Shake it out. Last time, last side. Bend the other leg. Leave it here. Or put it here. Or bend the bottom leg underneath you. Sitting up tall. If you're in the chair, you either are crossed, thigh over thigh, or if you can't do that, ankle over ankle. You're sitting up tall. And opposite arm. Inhale, exhale. You're going to bring it around, maybe. Oh, if you're seated on the floor, you're going to bring it up. And then like this, right? Otherwise, if you're in the chair, you're just gonna grab and come behind. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften into the twist. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, completely. Float back to center. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. All right, sit back in your chair if you're seated. If you're on your mat, you can lay down on your back with your knees bent. Breathing here. Either sitting back in the chair or laying down on your back with your knees bent. If you're laying down on your back with your knees bent, on the next exhale, draw your navel towards spine and flatten your low back against the ground. And then release it on the inhale. And if you're seated in the chair, same thing, sort of. On the next exhale, draw your navel towards spine and really squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then on the inhale, release that. Let your belly expand with air. If you're laying on the ground, you let your lumbar arch return. Last time, exhale, flattening low back to the ground, or just drawing navel towards spine in the chair, squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. And release that on the inhale and return to normal breathing. Coming back to the breath. Inhaling completely. Exhaling thoroughly. Scan your body. Make any little adjustments, any stretch, any twist that would make your practice feel complete before we move into Shavasana, final relaxation. So you're either on the ground or on your chair. If you're laying on your mat, you can leave your legs bent. You can extend one leg, you can extend both legs, whatever is most comfortable for you. One more option is laying on the ground with your legs on your chair. That can be very soothing for the low back. I'll just show you for a moment. You get close to the chair, sitting sideways, swing around, and legs up on the chair. Either, well, probably on the seat, but wherever is comfortable. So any of these shapes for your final relaxation. Either laying on the chair, with the feet on the chair, laying on the mat, or seated on the chair. Coming back to the breath. Inhaling completely. Exhaling thoroughly. Allowing the exhale to become a little bit longer than the inhale. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, activates a relaxation response, that longer exhale. Letting the breath slow down, letting the heartbeat return to normal. Place one hand on the heart center, other hand over the navel on the belly. As you inhale completely, breathe into those two hands. As you exhale, enjoy that sensation Inhaling completely, little pause. Exhale. Completely, little pause. You can leave your hands there as you like, or you can return them to your sides if you're laying on the ground. Either way. I'll do a chant. After that, there'll be a little silence, and then I'll sound the gong to let you know that your time of relaxation, shavasana, is coming to a close. But for a few minutes here, no place to go, nothing to do, but simply be. Diving deep into the spaces between the two parts of the breath. Lokaha, samasta, sukinho, babantu. Lokaha, samasta, sukinho, babantu. Lokaha, samasta, sukinho, babantu. Lokaha, samasta, sukinho, babantu. Coming back to this time in this place, deepening your breathing, wiggling fingers and toes to bring awareness back to the body without disturbing yourself too much. If you're laying down, slowly coming back to any comfortable seated position. If you are seated, just slowly coming back to this time, this place. And we'll join together in one chant of the word Om. Together, one time, one voice, one word, starting with the cleansing breath, inhaling completely and exhaling thoroughly. One more time, breathing in. I am grateful for my teachers and my teachers' teachers. I am grateful for my students. We say to ourselves and to each other, Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for joining us today. And if you were able to hear and to see, and you could let me know, that I would appreciate it. Take care.